it's not surface level is the easiest way to put it. It's like they have an intimate knowledge of what it is I'm asking, and they're answering in a way that adds more value.
All right, Brad, we've known each other for a while now. You came to the Contractor Coalition meetup at IBS even before, this is your first Contractor Coalition.
It is, yeah. So I'm a rookie here, but it feels like I know everyone, like we're all friends. We've done other events together, and it's really exciting to sort of be here now and to digest a lot of this information. It's been a lot of fun.
You know, you're a high-class operator. When I describe you, I'm like, you have like 5 businesses. I look at you as like essentially a quasi-host in the making. I mean, you have so much going on in your personal business, and as your friend and having known you now for the last couple of years, I know a lot more than the average person does about your business, and it's just really impressive to watch you pull the levers of your business. But you have such a hunger and a thirst and a curiosity to grow. What was it that drew you to the Contractor Coalition, other than I basically invited you every week for like 6 months?
It worked. It worked. Actually, if I hit the rewind button, the very first event that I think I knew about or heard about was the Nashville event, and I wanted to be.
3 years ago.
Yeah, I wanted to be there. It was painful for me not to go, because I knew. I guess I had just kind of understood the caliber of people that were going to be attending, and I knew that, if nothing else, all the information that I might know that might be on the screen that the hosts are sharing, I knew that I was going to have an amazing opportunity to network and learn something. And I come here now, and the show of hands of the new people here, I think it's almost 2/3 of the people, or maybe even higher. I don't know the percentage, but the number of people that raise their hand and said they were first time people here, it definitely speaks to like you continuing to attract better and better and better, or even just more and more builders to this who are at the top of their game in their markets. And I can say now, day 3 of being here, what I've learned just from the sidebar conversations, I have like 15 things to go back and implement. And I was like, yeah, maybe I'll get 1 or 2 things out of this. Yeah, no, it's out of a fire hose still.
Even for you, which is amazing, because you're such a high-class operator. I have a lot of respect for how you run your business, and we won't dive into it right now, but you come from a business background. You had tons of business training, you've grown big companies, and then you became a builder. And so many builders need help operationally. They were a builder first, myself included, and I needed help understanding, business literacy, and I still do. It's amazing to me that someone that has that great of a business background still finds as much value. I knew there would be value, but it's still just impressive to see how much more there still is to learn.
Yeah, it's funny, Nick made this phrase yesterday. He's like, I'm going into next year being a data-driven builder. And I was like, wait, you're a data-driven builder now. And I feel like, coming from the corporate space and spending a lot of time around sophisticated businesses with massive amounts of investment into business intelligence technologies, all those companies are data driven, and they're data driven in such a way that it can be looked at even negatively. You see these massive layoffs at companies, but they're pulling levers to make their business successful. I heard a quote not long ago. It was like, it's not about who gets there first in building, it's about the last man standing. It's like, you have to make it through these times and the seasons of the business and the changes of the marketplace and the challenges of the political climate. We are forced to deal with all of that here. And so this gives you a unique ability to kind of, like you said it yesterday, it's like a microscope, just continuing to focus in on the exacting details of the business, and that's all data driven. And no matter what your background is, you come here and you listen to this, and it's like you're talking to guys who are taking it to the next level.
If you were to say, because you had 15, we won't have you list all 15, 1 or 2 things that when you get back the next week that you want to implement, or at least talk to your team about.
I think I need to make a massive change in my org chart.
Really?
Yeah, or at least in the titles. And it's given me a different perspective to reconfigure at least the project management superintendent roles. I've always had this belief that you can have or hire unicorns. and I've been pretty vocal about this, that you can hire good enough to get people that will do a lot of things for you, wear a lot of hats, and who are good at this and that and that and that. The reality of it is as you systemize your business and you want to control the outcome, you have to compartmentalize some of those titles and roles. And maybe it's just such that you're wearing on your people. And I want to be a good steward to my people's emotions and feelings and this hard shell approach to how construction really is. Like, I think we all take that a little too far. People are people, and you have to, people are your assets. They're not a burden on your business. Like, and if you invest in them, they will go over and above. So rather than take this approach, like you've got this great person in your organization that can do it all, well, maybe they go home and they're just exhausted and you're depleting them every day. Like, it makes more sense to me now after listening and digesting how a lot of other builders are doing it, and then even for the business reasons, giving them more defined and concise roles and responsibilities and taking some of those taxing tasks off of them, I think might net our culture a positive result.
I think you are very good at building up people in your organization. You've told me, even before Contractor Coalition, that you want to build people up. You want to empower people. And one of the things that we see from the leadership here, really from day one, we talk about it, collaboration over competition has been a tagline. Your vibe attracts your tribe, all those types of things. What have you noticed about the other builders that are here and the conversations that are happening, on the way to dinner, walking around town? Tell us a little bit about what those conversations are like and how they impact your business or your personal life.
Yeah, what's funny is that I think the statement of the day yesterday, as we really had some of those conversations, is we're all the same. We're all dealing with issues. It doesn't matter how the facade of the business looks or how glamorous it looks. We're all dealing with the same problems for the most part, and we all have our own unique personalities and cultures. And if you look at these other people's businesses, it's like all their people are like little mini thems, right? They kind of you've got your own personality, and a lot of the people in your organization, they kind of have the similar quirks as you. And so it's just you're a direct reflection of your team, and your team is a direct reflection of you. But what I can say is that the problems are similar, and if I explain to you sort of my approach to finding resolve to a small issue, or even an idea around culture building or a positive thing, it doesn't have to be all negative. You have a solution that I don't, and I might have one that you don't, and we're sharing that. And
or we might both be going through the exact same thing, and it's like this free space. Someone mentioned the other day we got into a pretty intimate conversation about life, and he had just mentioned, he's like, he had just said, hey, there's not a lot of spaces that men, business owners, that they can share, what they're going through. And in some ways, I think one of the things that has been a reoccurring theme is just how authentic people are, how open people are. And I think when you lead with vulnerability, when you lead with openness, and it's really every one of the hosts have really been like that, and really every one of the attendees are like that. I think when you have this spirit of collaboration, when you have this spirit of uplifting your brother or sister, and truly doing it, the communication is much deeper and it's much more meaningful. And I've had a number of people, like, each thing has a value. They'll say, like, hey, the conversations that we have even between classes would be worth it. The conversations in the classes are worth it. It's like there's so many pieces of value here. It's why I think we keep seeing people come back again and again and again, because there's this spirit of encouragement and really a spirit of camaraderie. Because when we go back home to our own markets, Nick said this 3 years ago, it's like in a farmer's field. If you're a silo of grain, you think you're the only silo of grain. And then you get outside that bin and guess what? You're right next to another one. And so it's breaking down those walls and just sharing openly, this is what I'm struggling with, or this is what has been successful. As you go into, you've been talking a lot about going into another market, and as you're exploring what that means, you're asking a ton of questions, and that inspires a bunch of other people to say like, man, maybe I should consider looking at another market, whatever that might mean. It doesn't have to even be another state. It might be another city in their state. And so I think you see this collision of all these amazing ideas, and it just fosters creativity.
Obviously, it's top of mind for me because that's what's going on in my world right now. But the number of people that have come and approached me about, I was thinking about this other market, and hey, look, our business, our industry is changing and evolving. A lot of builders are retiring, and there's new guys coming in, fresh energy, and it's great. They have a lot of zeal. They're ready to go after it, and them coming to me and asking me questions about it, it's helped me discover or uncover things about what I'm doing, and I'm able to actually think about how that impacts me, and I'm making changes. Like, I'm starting to think a little bit differently about it. And the fact that I can just ask these questions openly in the middle of this conversation has helped me in a big way, because I talk a lot, like somebody I know. And it's been great because it's like an open conversation. It's not like they're talking at us. Like, the hosts do not talk at us. It is more of a general conversation, and you can get it plugged in and activated in that conversation as we go. And it's a great environment for someone like me who feels like I'm active in the part of the like, might as well only be 5 people in it.
100%. Before I came to my first one, I called Morgan. I didn't know who she was. And I said, I don't want to sit in front of an audience of 100 people and just be talked at for 3 days. Like, I'm not going to learn anything. I'm someone that needs a lot of dialogue. And she said, oh, you're going to get a lot of dialogue. And I was known, even today, they still joke about it, I was the guy in the front row asking questions the whole time. And I needed that interaction. I like what you said, active participant. And that's really what they encourage. And Morgan, Nick, Tyler, Brad, myself, we learn so much as you answer the questions. And the whole leadership group continues to modify their pitches, not only because their businesses grow, but to respond to the attendees that bring great ideas too. And like, hey, that's a great idea. I need to work that in, because we're all dealing with the same issues, the same things that solve problems, likely solve the problems for other people.
Here's the difference for me though. Every one of these hosts, and I, and you as well, we've known each other for some time. And we're scattered all across the country, right? We, outside of being my part-time therapist, which I really appreciate, especially after morning runs, the people that are here I communicate with often as part of the things that the vibe attracts the tribe, whether it's through fitness or whether it's through some other thing in this business. I'm communicating with you guys quite a bit, and it's interesting because now as I ask questions, this is, the vibe attracts the tribe kind of mentality. These guys know my business, so when I ask a question, it's a little different. They're answering from a perspective of already having some know about what I've got going on, and especially over the course of 4 days while we're here, the host, they're thinking about my business and responding appropriately with more. It's not surface level is the easiest way to put it. It's like they have an intimate knowledge of what it is I'm asking, and they're answering in a way that adds more value.
I mean, the depth of understanding leads to the depth of the answer. And as any relationship goes, the more you know someone, the more impactful and the more meaningful every conversation is. I mean, ultimately, it's friendship.
It's like it's friendship, but almost like trusted business advisor.
Yeah.
That was the part where I knew Brad and Nick and Morgan and you, and we just have all had so much good conversation through other events, and you start stacking that on top of one another. It's like I was thinking about Chicago. I was like, I know Allison will be there, and that'll be awesome. And I'm thinking like, I need to go to that too, because whether it's the information is exactly the same, the conversation will be different around it, but also the people, the builders that are going to be there are going to be different.
It's funny.
And
I was an attendee for, this is my fifth one, but now as a host, 4 as an attendee. And I kept coming because it's a little bit like accountability too. You and I have done some other stuff. We won't need to talk about it all on this now in terms of like fitness stuff and goals and the way we talk, but there's also like these meaningful check-ins. It's not like you go to, if you're filling up your car, you don't go once and the car is full forever. Like you stop for a refill. I actually think of the Contractor Coalition as like an emotional recharge, like a way to reboot your creativity, to get re-inspired. Maybe you're at a low point in your business. Maybe you're at a high point. That's what makes it work.
Or your seasons have changed.
Yeah. You're now, we've had a number of smaller remodelers that are saying, we'd like to take a step and do new, I didn't say step up because I don't necessarily think that's true. They view it that way. But they want to transition into new home building because that seems to be the move that they want to make. It doesn't matter. At some businesses like ours, one season will be 80% remodel, 20% new. This year, I'm probably 90% new and 10% remodel. It's seasonal. To your point, your business morphs and change with not only your business, but your personal life, the climate of the world. I mean, we're constantly adapting. And if you're not adapting, honestly, you're going in the past. You have to adapt.
What's interesting is that my entire perspective of this has changed. This is not an event. This is a community. Like that's what after having been here now, I've completely realized. It's so just like any other community that you're involved in, the people they're investing in you. But going back to that, like you're in different seasons, you have different challenges in front of you. That's what I love about this more than anything. It's like I knew obviously the people that are here feel like family in some way, but also that if I needed to jump in or jump out, like however this all works, it's like as time goes on, it's like I know I have a community to lean in on. It's awesome.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah,
Good to see you, buddy. If you're interested in attending the Contractor Coalition in the future, please head to contractorcoalitionsummit.com or follow us on Instagram to find out more.